Thanks for stopping by the channel. Today we're going to test out this Escape electric bike's Outlander Plus. We're going to take it out on a Class 2 only ride. We're going to keep it in speeds 20 miles or under. And we're going to test out these two batteries, total of 35 amp hours. On the front you've got a 20 amp hour, and on the back you have a 15 amp hour. So this Outlander Plus is a prototype bike. Some of the components on this bike will be changed out in the production model. The owner of Escape electric bikes, Joel, and his wife are making tweaks and changes based on customer feedback. But just to set the parameters for the beginning of the ride, we'll go up here to the display. This will also change. This display will be changed in the production model to an upgraded display. As you can see, both batteries are currently at 100%. And we are currently on the rear battery. And you can change that over here on just using this red toggle. If you go in the middle, you can see that that's changing it to dual battery or dual motor. And then if you go to the left, you'll see that you're front motor only. So we're going to start off with the tripometer set to 0 miles. Okay, then we get to the speed section. Go in here and change the speed. I've already set it to 20.4 miles an hour as a top speed. And then we're going to track the overall range, see how many miles we get in the end. You can see right there it's set to 0. Since this is a Class 2 only range test, and we do have two large batteries on this bike, a 20 amp hour and a 15 amp hour, it's likely going to take 2 days to complete the ride. I know this because of previous experience doing these Class 2 rides with dual batteries. For some of this ride, I'll be using my speedometer app to track just how accurate the display is. As you can see, it's right there. It's really close to being dead on. And the rain is supposed to stay away, so fingers crossed it does. The rider parameters, I'm 6'5", 260 pounds. For most of the ride today, we're going to be on this Dragonfly Trail that runs parallel with the Chattahoochee River. So we're going to mix up our riding styles over the next 2 days. Quite a bit of pedaling, some throttle when needed. And again, maximum of 20 miles an hour. I'd like to give you a background on how I came to be on this Outlander Plus today from Escape electric bikes. After watching several videos Escape put together on the Outlaw and Outlander, this bike, I reached out to Joel and his wife Casey at Escape electric bikes and let them know I'd be working in Georgia for a few months. And I was so impressed with their bikes that I was wondering if they would be willing to loan me one so I could do an honest and unbiased review. And they graciously agreed. I was just really impressed with the quality components and the construction of these bikes. And I thought this would be a good way to get the word out to everybody who likes these high-powered e-bikes. And these bikes that Escape make, there's 3 basic models that are in the higher power range that still look like regular bicycles, and that's the Outlaw, which is a single motor 60 volt system, dual battery. The Outlander, which is this model, which is actually the Outlander Plus, it's a dual motor, dual battery 52 volt system. And then they also have a newer model called Mountaineer, which is a dual battery, dual motor, 60 volt system. I was actually very happy to discover there was another competitor in the high power e-bike market with Escape and their bikes, because competition really makes things better, gives us more choices. Hi, thanks, you too. Yeah, competition is great for the e-bike industry. When these companies compete, all of us consumers benefit. I'm going to stop by and give you a quick picture of the sign, the trail that we'll be taking. See the "You Are Here" sign as we hug the Chattahoochee River. I think we're on the north section of Dragonfly Trails, the Chattahoochee River Walk. Over the course of this video, I'll cut in and out. The video will take, like I said, a couple of days to complete, so I'll cut in and out when I've got some interesting information to share with you, or some sights, like this covered bridge, which is pretty awesome. At the end of the ride, I'll give you how many miles of range we were able to get out of these two batteries, total of 35 amp hours. How long of a duration it took to get those miles. And then I'll wrap things up with some final conclusions and impressions after the ride. So we're going up a pretty steady hill, nobody around. Let's use the throttle. I got a full throttle and it's stopping us at 20 miles an hour, just like it's supposed to. And it's maintaining 20 up this fairly steep hill. That's the benefit of having two motors. I think for the sake of consistency, I'm going to keep the bike in dual motor mode for the entire ride. I was thinking of switching it back and forth between rear motor only and dual motor. Can't really see a reason to keep it in front motor only, so I'm not going to use that. So for consistency, I'll just leave it in dual motor. Probably cut down on our ultimate range, but that's okay. All right, some downhill, 20, 21, 24 on a coast. Very nice. I think what I'll do, since we have full access to the throttle, even in class 2 mode, I'm going to start at the base of this hill, turn it around, and I'm going to see how many watts we can pull full throttle going up this little incline here, and we're going to watch the wattage and see what we peak out at. Ready, go. 1900, 3100, 3174, 3180. Now it starts to throttle us back. 3180 watts on these dual 1000 watt motors. No hesitation pulling us up that hill. I think we've reached the end of the North Dragonfly Trail, so we're going to turn around and head all the way back down south, down through the city of Columbus, and head down towards Fort Moore. This series of rolling hills, it will have an effect on shortening the battery life. Give us a little throttle, get up this hill. Still going to cap us at 20. No problem pulling us up. I'll pull over up here and go over some of the premium components on this bike. Do a quick review on those. I won't go over all the components. I did that in a previous video on this bike called the Outlander Plus. I'll leave a link in the description below to that video if you want to get a full review on all the specs and components of this bike. Since the rain drove us indoors for a while, I thought I'd take this opportunity to go over some key components on this Outlander Plus. Everything starts with the motors. You've got dual 1000 watt Bafang motors, front and back. This bike has dual batteries. You got a 20 amp hour in the front, mounted on the front frame, down tube, and you've got one in the rear rack here that's 15 amp hours, a total of 35 amp hours. They are Samsung 21700 lithium ion cell batteries. You've also got dual suspension on the bike. The front suspension is a trauma fork, a dual crown fork. This is going to be changed out. It's actually going to be an air suspension fork that's going to come with the production model, so you'll be able to add air to adjust for your weight. And in the back, you have a D&M air shock. Also, you have adjustability that you can add air to right here, and you got 2 levels of adjustment here and a rebound adjustment in the back. You've got an upgraded derailleur. This is the Shimano Alivio. It's about 4 levels up from the standard Shimano tourney that you get with a lot of e-bikes. The bike comes with 9 speeds and an 11 by 34 tooth cassette. You've got a 56 tooth chain ring on this bike, but the production model is going to come with a 58 tooth chain ring. Great for eliminating that ghost pedaling. You've got 9 speeds up here on the right handlebar with thumb shifters. You also have your choice of having a left thumb throttle if you prefer, instead of the right quarter twist throttle. Got a bell. You have 2 30 amp controllers that are sine wave controllers mounted inside this crank housing. They're also potted controllers, which means they are thermal gel filled. That helps dissipate the heat that these controllers can put out. You've also got a very bright front headlight, LED, with LED tail light and brake light in the back. Let me see if I can grab this brake and see if I can get this to activate. That's with the brake on and with the brake off. I also wanted to point out that this rear battery is going to be a slimline battery in the production model, and this rear rack is going to be condensed down. So you're probably going to come down about 1.5 to 2 inches in height. It's going to be more slimline as a whole. This raised lip that you see here in the front, that's also going to get flattened out to be level with the rest of this rack. And this whole unit will be shifted up towards the seat a little bit to provide a little bit more center of gravity weight distribution over the rear wheel. Okay, we're coming up to that covered bridge again. This is a really nice touch. Let's get a check on the ride so far. Looks like we've come 8.7 miles so far. Time on the ride is about 1 hour and 10 minutes. Average speed so far is 10.1 miles an hour. Coming down now on this cool little series of switchbacks by the power plant. I just met a real interesting man. Bruce Birch is his name. He's a local, lived here all of his life. He's 71. So Bruce, if you're watching this video, I really appreciate you taking the time out to give me a little background history on Columbus. And I enjoyed talking with you. We're going to take the walkway bridge, the Riverwalk Bridge, across the Chattahoochee. The Chattahoochee River forms the border between Georgia and Alabama. So behind me on the east side of the Chattahoochee is Georgia, and ahead of me is Alabama. It looks like the rain is staying pretty consistent right now with a little drizzle, so might have to cut this filming short today and pick it up tomorrow. Hopefully it doesn't rain tomorrow. We can pick everything back up where we left off. Let's see, so today looks like we're going to end up with our battery, one battery at 90 or 82%, one at 83%. We've come 14.6 miles. I'll leave these batteries uncharged as they are overnight, and we'll pick it back up tomorrow. We had a little bit of excitement last night. That rain that stopped our filming yesterday developed into a stronger storm. And then about 4:30 in the morning, we were all awakened by an emergency alert for a tornado warning. So that was kind of exciting. Hopefully no one was injured or no property damage. Today we're going to continue our ride along Dragonfly Trail. This will be the south portion of it. Looks like the river is even more flooded today because of that heavy rain overnight. I wanted to go over some of the options available to you on the Outlander. The first option is the ability to get two 750 watt motors in the Outlander and two 1000 watt motors in the Outlander Plus, the version I'm riding. You also have the option of either a torque sensor or a cadence sensor. This bike currently has the prototype version that I'm riding has a torque sensor on it, and a torque sensor is pressure based. It's more of a natural feel when you're pedaling, like you would feel on a normal bicycle. So the more power you put into it with your legs, the more response you're going to get from the motor. A cadence sensor, all you need to do is rotate the pedals. It's not pressure based. So as soon as the motor, the controller senses that you're pedaling, it'll just bring the bike up to a set amount of power that's either percentage based in the case of this particular cadence sensor on this bike, or it'll bring you up to a particular speed and stop you there in that particular pedal assist. Another option you have, and this is my favorite option, is you can get this in a step-through version, but only in the 26-inch model on either the Outlander or the Outlander Plus. Currently, to my knowledge, there's no other bike in this category, these 60 volt and 52 volt systems, that has a step through with dual powerful motors like this. Having a step through and not having to hike your leg or kick your leg over the back or this center bar, for people of my age, in my age group, 55 to 64, that's primarily the biggest demographic who watch my videos. I feel your pain, first of all. I know the aches and pains that you go through, and having had 5 knee surgeries, I know my knees aren't the best, and I don't have quite the flexibility that I used to in my younger years. So having that option of being able to get this bike in the step through is huge in my opinion. And personally, I think Escape is going to sell a lot of these step through versions for these Outlanders. The next option is the ability to order this bike in either a quarter twist throttle over here, or you can get a left thumb throttle. No extra charge on either one of those. Another option available is you can order this bike in either a 24 or 26-inch version for the tires at no additional charge. Now this bike is going to come with Black Cat tires. They're an upgraded premium tire. It's more of an all-terrain tire, a different tread pattern. I'll throw a picture of that up on the screen. And those are real popular tires with these faster, heavier e-bikes. Or if you prefer, you can order the bike with these Kenda Crusades that are currently on this prototype model that you see. They're the knobby tires. Nothing wrong with them, they're just a little noisier. And ride a little bit rougher than the Black Cats. Now you might also know the Black Cat tires as HEB Allscapes or Ultraverse tires. They're the same tire made by the same manufacturer with just different brands on them. I was speaking with Joel the other day, and I wanted to pass along some information that he provided to me. He recently reduced the price of the Outlander, both the standard Outlander and this Outlander Plus, $200 on each bike. So now the Outlander with two 750 watt motors is $26.49 on pre-order, and the Outlander Plus with the two 1000 watt motors, it's now $27.49. If you want to get in touch with them, I'll leave a link in the description below to Escape Electric Bikes. Looks like we're coming up on another covered walkway or bridge. This is nice. Oh wow, what do we got here? That's some pretty serious flooding. This is quite a bit higher. The river level is higher than it was yesterday. Okay, I guess we will turn around and find another way around it. I had to jump out here on the main road for a while till I could get around that flooded area on the trail. Luckily, there's a nice wide bike path. So right now I'm going full throttle and we're capped at 20 miles an hour just like we're supposed to be. I wanted to get up on this sidewalk to demonstrate just how quietly this bike rides as we hit some of these harsher bumps and cracks in the sidewalk. You hardly hear anything rattling or making any noise, any metal to metal noises, because of the extra touches and thought that was put into how this bike was assembled. By putting rubber grommets in between metal to metal, really helps eliminate that rattling noise. Maybe I'll just jump off the bike here and show you what I mean, just demonstrate it to you. So I'm referring to these rubber grommets, rubber washers that were placed here between the frame and the rear rack. This would make a tremendous amount of noise if this was a metal washer here and there. And it's subtle touches like that that really help provide a quiet ride on this bike. Also, I wanted to point out these rubber stops on these dual crown forks. As you make a turn, you can go right into the frame, and then you'll hear that clank when the fork collides with the frame, but they installed rubber stops on here to help protect the frame and the fork and to eliminate the noise and the clank from the metal to metal. Looks like I found the river walk crossing again. I think this is the trail, the Dragonfly Trail. We'll find out. This may be the Fort Moore golf course on our left. We are still making our way along the Fort Moore golf course. We may be heading into the base here soon, so when we do that, we'll just turn around and head back north. Yes, we're coming up on the Army Infantry Museum here at Fort Moore. Beautiful facility. Great place to spend an afternoon. So this is the end of the Dragonfly Trail. So we'll turn around and we'll head back north towards the center of Columbus. Okay, as we make our way around the flooded bike trail through some neighborhoods, we'll go ahead and get an update on our ride. We've come 32.1 miles so far. Our front battery's at 52%. Our rear battery's at 55%. We're back out on the main road again. So I've got it in pedal assist 9. And we're doing the maximum of 20 miles an hour. Let's just see what kind of wattage that we're pulling. As we go against this pretty strong headwind. See 1,000 watts. Jumped up to 13, 1,050, dips down to 787, and back up to 935. The display on this prototype is going to be changed out for the production model. The production model will have a Bigstone C900 color LCD, fully programmable display. And in that display, you're going to have the functionality of being able to adjust the power percentages for the front motor. Instead of being the full 1,000 watts and not being able to have any adjustability in it, you'll be able to tweak that front motor percentage levels in the different pedal assists. So it helps tame down the power delivered to that front motor, especially when you're on turns and gravel or loose dirt, areas that could be slippery or wet surfaces. You want to be able to tone down that front motor to help you with grip and stability, keep you from sliding out. Having the ability to switch between the front motor, rear motor, or both motors here with this red toggle on the fly is really, really handy, so you don't have to stop and mess with the programming and the advanced settings. So as I mentioned yesterday when we started the ride, I've kept it in both motor, the dual motor mode that you see here. Both of them are orange, but we can toggle between them and just run the front motor or the rear motor on their own. If you ran the rear motor only, you would get more range out of these batteries. We're back on the north end of the Dragonfly Trail that we were on yesterday. I think this is a little more elevated than the southern portion of Dragonfly Trail, so not sure whether we're going to run into any flooded, washed out bike paths like we did on the southern part. We'll find out. There's definitely high water levels from the rain, the heavy rain last night in the Tallahatchie. Okay, we had to pull over there for a minute and change out all the batteries. Camera, microphone, all that kind of stuff. Most of the time I don't catch myself in time and I end up talking to a dead battery on a camera or talking into a microphone with no battery. Well, at least I caught myself this time before they both died. Okay, we're coming back up on that hydro power plant. It's got a series of bridges. This is always fun. Uh-oh. We've been blocked off. Why are we blocked off? Not sure, but we'll go around it. Besides that, I want to go up this bridge to this old abandoned mill, because that's the best part of this ride. Blast that throttle with those two motors. So let's get a check on our ride. Looks like we are at 43 miles even. 24% left on the front battery and 27% left on the rear battery. Starting to approach that gray area where the accuracy of the battery percentage readout is not very reliable. We'll see how this Outlander Plus does. What are we doing? 27 miles an hour downhill. Yeah, we're starting to get back into that hilly area on the extreme north end of the trail. So we get a run up this. Now this is going to drain the batteries a little quicker when we have to power up these hills. And I got it in top pedal assist 9 as we hit the end of the trail. So pedaling up that hill is no problem. Let's go down this really steep hill here. Hopefully it comes through on camera. Definitely got to keep hold of these Tektro 4-piston hydraulic brakes. Yes, they control us very nicely. Excellent brakes. As we power up this hill, 18, 19 miles an hour. All right, we're going to turn around and head south towards Columbus again. If I coast, it'll let me pick up speed beyond 20, but if I try to pedal, it holds me back. All right, let's pedal up this pedal assist 9. We are in gear 8. 19 miles an hour. Does take some strength to get up, put some pressure on those pedals with this torque sensor. That's part of the exercise that you get with a torque sensor. It's nice. So going up those hills did drain us a little bit on the batteries. Currently we are sitting at 45.7 miles, 17% on the front battery left and 20% on the rear. And we are down in the red. See if we can squeeze through here. Oh yeah. As you can see, there's a lot of white water over there. I know in downtown Columbus you can actually rent whitewater rafting canoes. As we make our way back into the center of Columbus, we're going to take this pedestrian bridge and go over the river to the Alabama side and see what kind of bike paths we can find over there. Looks like we got quite a bit of white water today. Right in here. I don't see anybody out there brave enough to ride it though. Looks like we got a bike path over here to the right. Try this out. Let's check on our ride. 48.7 miles so far. 13% left on the front battery and 16% on the rear battery. Again, both in the red. The Phoenix. That's because we're in Phoenix City, Alabama. Whitewater Park. Rush South, Whitewater Park. There you go. That must be where they get in the water and ride the rapids. This is a nice curvy bike path. Ooh, we're getting close to the water line here. Looks like it splashes over on occasion. Well, you get a nice view of the mills on the other side. I am impressed by the nimbleness of this front tire. Usually when you add a motor to it, the extra weight really affects the handling characteristics. You can feel the extra weight, but it seems to be well balanced. Very easy to turn and maneuver. Back on the beautiful river walk, downtown Columbus. That is until we hit another flooded section. And we'll see how far we can go. Yeah, I think this is it. The whole thing's underwater. Almost up to the fence line down there underneath that tree. Wow. Well, we're back at the big water tower. Oh, we've got the zip line right here straight in front of us. I don't know if you could see the wire going all the way over to the other side. That looks like that'd be a lot of fun going across that zip line. Over the raging river. Oh, here's where you could rent the canoes for whitewater rafting. Wow. That is the river walk down there underwater. Oh, I started feeling a loss of power in the throttle. What's that? Let's see. Let's give a check on our ride. That could be why. We are setting at 51.7 miles. Oh yeah, the throttle is definitely low. It's only giving us 500 watts. We are down to 7% on our front battery and 9% on the rear. Yeah, I'm going full throttle. It's dialing back the power to preserve what little it has left so you don't get stuck because you miscalculated your range. Maybe it's going to run out a little sooner than we thought. Whoa, let's go up this hill. It's struggling. I'm going to have to pedal. It says it's giving me 524 watts. Full throttle. Slowly picking up. Just about to tick over to 52 miles traveled. We're still getting power, so we'll still keep going. So as we tick down to 0% on the front battery and 1% on the rear battery, I think this is a good time to call it quits on this ride. We got 55.7 miles of range out of these two batteries. And keep in mind, we've been on dual motor the whole time, which will reduce our range a little bit. And we did have quite a few hills that we ran into. So pretty impressive for a Class 2 ride, getting 55.7 miles out of these two batteries. Total ride time was, looks like 5 hours and 2 minutes between yesterday and today. We'll go ahead and wrap up the ride. Really appreciate you going along with me over the last couple of days as we do a Class 2 range test on this Outlander Plus. If you've gotten anything out of the ride, really appreciate it if you could hit that like button and consider subscribing to the channel. Until next time, take care.